Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I want to show you how to play Escape the Dark Castle, a game of atmospheric adventure. This game is from Themeborn. It's their first published game, and for those of you who love choose your own adventure and kind of creepy old school fantasy, this game is definitely going to be a hit for you. I personally think it's a little better with more people. The students in my game club adore it, but it's still fun solo and it's very easy to learn. So let's have a look. The first thing you need in Escape the Dark Castle is a castle to escape from, which means that we need to build the castle deck. The bottom card is always going to be a boss card. So you have these great oversized cards. The ones with the door on the back are boss cards. So you just mix them up, pick one, and put that at the bottom of your castle deck. And that is going to be the boss that we're going to fight in this game. Next, you need to build your whole castle to wander through. So you're going to use these cards with the black backs. Pretty luxurious, right? So you draw 15 of them off of the deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of cards left over, and that is to make sure your adventure is a little bit different every single time. And finally, you top off your deck with the castle card. Every game is going to begin with this card. And as you can see, you've set up like a little book almost. Turn over to begin. But before we can do that, we should probably pick some characters. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So there are 6 characters for you to choose from in Escape the Dark Castle. In a solo game, you're going to choose 2 characters to control. And why can't I just choose one, you say? Well, the reason is that you need them to balance out in terms of their stats. So see how here on the cook, he has these little stats etched next to these symbols behind him on the wall? That is because he has 4 might, 3 cunning, and 1 wisdom. And that means that you need to choose a character that is going to balance him out a little bit. So I like to go with the tanner to pair with the cook, because whereas he only has 1 wisdom, she has 4 wisdom. They both have 3 cunning, which means that between them they have an okay pool of that on the dice, as you're going to see. And then you have 4 might and 1 might. So basically they complement each other pretty nicely. And in a game of Escape the Dark Castle, the characters have to survive to the end together. If you lose one person, everybody loses the game. So you need people who have skills that complement each other a little bit to make sure that you have a chance to succeed. So let's talk very briefly about how those stats play out. Each character in Escape the Dark Castle has 1 custom character die. So the cook has a cook die. The tanner has a die that says tanner on it. Pretty simple, right? So the cook, because they have 4 might, is going to have 4 fists total on their die. This side is doubles, and because it has a shield around it, it's going to block during combat, which is something that we're going to see. The tailor does not have as much combat as the cook. She only has 1 fist on her whole die, but she's got 4 wisdom, double wisdom, 1 wisdom, and of course a double cunning and another cunning on the die. So the stats on the back reflect the number of symbols that are actually on that character die. And when we are playing, we're also going to be playing with these black chapter dice. I'm going to show you how they work later, but you should take these out and set them next to your castle in your play area. The last couple things you need for setup are your item deck. So we're going to draw some cool items from this deck shortly. And you need to calculate your starting HP so you can keep track of that throughout the game. So you can use an app, you can use a notepad. The game comes with this pretty sweet little notepad and some golf pencils. So in a 2-player game, each of your characters starts off with 18 HP, but that number goes down when there are more players. So if you're playing a 4-player game, you should probably check that. And now we're ready to play. So let's move our deck over here so we can turn it like the pages of a book. And here it says turn over to begin. So let's do it. After years of incarceration in the depths of the dark castle, you finally break free of your cell. In a small stone room adjoining the cell block stands an old wooden chest. The lock is open. Draw an item card per player now. Awesome. So let's draw a couple item cards and see what we get. So, Liquid Luck. Let's say that the Tanner drew first. She'll pick up some Liquid Luck so she can discard one of her die rolls to just roll again and see if she gets something better. The Cook is going to get an Infested Cheese Wheel. Discard to restore 1 HP to all characters. Well, that's cool. So one thing that's interesting about these items, you can hold 2 at a time unless you're holding like an axe, which is a 2-handed weapon, in which case you can have only the 1 item. If you're during an item phase and you draw something disposable like food, you can eat the food, pick your weapon back up, and keep going. So if we get to that, I'll show you how it works. You hear footsteps approaching. You must not linger here. You make for the exit, slipping away and disappearing into the darkness. Turn the first chapter card now. So one thing that matters for this game is who is the character turning the chapter card. That matters even in solo play. So you have to be clear about who is turning the next page of this adventure book, because there may be consequences on there that just say you in all caps, and that you is going to be whoever turned the card over. So you have to keep track. So let's say the Cook is feeling a little bold and he's going to turn this next page. Oh, okay, this wasn't too scary. A hooded man approaches. He looks cautiously over his shoulder and then whispers, asking if you wish to trade. Each player may choose an option. So you can discard any item and draw 2 more. You can try to roll a double in one attempt to negotiate with him. If you succeed, then you just get a free item card. If you fail, your primitive appeal falls flat. You get nothing. Okay, so I like this Infested Cheese Wheel for later. So the Cook is gonna try, so see how it says each player may choose one option? We each get to do a deal with him. So let's say that the Cook is gonna try a deal first. He's gonna try to negotiate because he wants to keep his Infested Cheese Wheel for later. So let's roll and see what we get. So here we have rolled doubles. See that double symbol? That means that we also just get to draw another item card. It worked out. So now we also have, a Rusted Flail. Once per round of combat, when you roll Cunning, you may roll again and choose which of the 2 results to apply. So I can get a little double roll out of that Rusted Flail. So Liquid Luck, I mean, it's okay. I don't know what else is in here right now. But you know what? I enjoy negotiating, so let's give it a shot. Ooh! She also rolled doubles, so now we get another item for the Tanner. And she's going to have a Warped Cudgel. Once per round of combat, when you roll Might, you may roll again and choose which of the 2 results to apply. So one thing that's important about item phases is that we can trade stuff right now, but once we're in combat, you can't just suddenly start trading items in the middle of combat. So if we're going to do any rearrangements, we need to do this now. I like the way everything's set up at the moment, so we're just going to... Well, actually, let's think about that. Since he's more likely to roll Might, let's give him the Warped Cudgel because he has just so many more Might dice. And then we'll let her have the Rusted Flail, so that way they're both going to get use out of the items they have for as long as we keep them. So that was this card. We managed to successfully negotiate and get some more items, which was great. So we are going to have another card, see how it goes. Let's say that the Tanner is now saying, well, you open the last door, I guess it's my turn. So she's going to turn the next card over. Whoa! You follow a tunnel, which leads to a pitch dark room. Your ears suddenly fill with maddening whispers and spectral hands reach out towards you from every direction. As a group, choose one option. So we can flee, run for our lives, but with an unseen hand, the specter reaches into your souls. All players lose 2 HP. Or we can fight. So let's talk about combat and what that choice really means for us. Okay, so if we run away, we're just each going to lose 2 HP. If we begin combat, we run a risk of taking more damage. See this number in the bottom right corner, the number 3? If during combat you do not roll doubles with a shield like this, that means that you are open to being hit if you don't kill the monster on that turn. And so what that's going to mean is that you will lose 3 HP for every round that happens. So basically we can literally roll the dice to see if we can just get him and, you know, maybe not have to take that much damage, or we can run away and just take 2 HP because we think that we're going to get hurt more during the combat round. So since this is a sample game, and I'm actually probably going to stop after this so you can discover the rest of these awesome cards for yourself, I'm going to show you how combat works. So these chapter dice are what are used to generate the pool that we're rolling against. The first symbol is determined here. So we must roll a wisdom die. But see this little person shape? That means that we roll 2 more chapter dice, 1 per player. So now in order to defeat him, we need to roll 2 wisdom and 1 cunning. That means it's going to be on the Tanner to try to work this out. So in combat, we roll our dice and see how we do. And then if he's still alive, he attacks us. He's going to still be alive because, you know, fact check, there's 3 dice and we only have 2. If one of us rolls doubles or both, then we'll block him. Otherwise, somebody's getting hurt, which is why it might have made sense to flee, depending on how bold you feel. But let's fight. All right, Cook and Tanner, let's see how y'all do. That was a cocked die, but we'll take it. Okay, so the Tanner has rolled a might, shockingly. The Cook has rolled a cunning. So what's going to happen is that this cunning matches this die. We take it away. But this creature still has 2 dice left, so he's going to attack us back. So we both lost 3 HP. And we're down to 15 each. The other thing that's interesting about combat is that if we feel that we're losing too much HP, one character can rest and be out of a round and gain an HP back, but that also means that they're not rolling their die in a particular round of combat. So in a combat where, let's say that the Tanner wanted to regain an HP, she would sit out, he would roll. So he would take whatever damage, she wouldn't. She would regain 1 HP and hopefully come back into the round next time. But we're not actually going to do that. We're going to keep fighting. All right, Cook and Tanner, let's go again. Ooh, so the Cook is actually being pretty useful here. The Tanner isn't. She did, however, roll a die with a shield on it, so she's not going to get hurt this turn. However, she may make a different decision, so let's talk about it. But first, these dice match. That one's out. So this creature still has 1 die left, and it's a wisdom. That's something that we know the Tanner has a lot of. She also has this rusted flail weapon that says, once per round of combat, when you roll cunning, you may roll again and choose which of the 2 results to apply. So I know that I have a shielded cunning here, but it doesn't hurt me to try and roll again and see if I can get a wisdom to just kill this monster once and for all. Nope, fail. But I get to choose which of the results to apply, so I'm going to shield myself. Sorry, Cook. Poor guy. So he just got hit for another 3, and he's down to 12. So given that the Cook is unlikely to roll another wisdom, given his statistics, I think what we're going to do is we are going to let the Cook rest this round. Because the Tanner didn't get hurt last round, but he did. So he's going to rest. So now I'll show you how that works. That means that this Tanner is the only one to roll this round. So she shielded herself, which means nothing happened. The Cook, who sat out, gets 1 HP back. So he's back up to 13. Since nothing happened for this round of combat, let's do that again. Let's let the Cook rest again, and the Tanner will roll her die. Ha! Finally, a wisdom. It matches. This goes away. He dies. And at the end of combat, this is the best part because you each get to draw another item card. So let's see what we get, and then we'll decide what to do with our items. So 1 item for the Cook. Ooh, a partially rotten apple. Delicious. And then 1 item for the Tanner. She has an effervescent evasion. So when you are dealing with more items than you can actually carry during an item phase, you can actually just kind of pretend you have this general pool until you sort it out. So we haven't moved on. We're at the end of a chapter with just your item cards. So we're in this kind of nether place in terms of items where we don't have to immediately discard. We can work through what we have. So the easiest thing to do is to actually get rid of these cards by consuming them. So let's discard this infested cheese wheel and restore 1 HP to all characters. So that means that the cook is going to go up to 14 and the tanner is going to go to 16. The cook is also going to discard his partially rotten apple. Discard to restore 1 HP to your character. So just him, he will now be back up to 15. So that's that. And now we still have 4 items left in our pool. And that means that each of them is going to get to take 2 and then move on. So let's have her keep her rusted flail and her liquid luck. It worked out fine last time. And he will take his effervescent evasion. So now each of them has 2 item cards and they're ready to continue the journey through the dark castle. However, now that I've shown you all the basic mechanics, I'm going to stop right here because you only get to uncover these cards for the first time once, and I want you to have that unique pleasure for yourself. Happy gaming.